Let's go for human dragon. I'll change my name. Whatever.
Thousands of years ago, Sigurd I built incredible engines of war, and with them forged an empire. The emperor married and sired many children. He even had a love child with mysterious Aurora, an ancient dragon in a woman's guise. Once united, peace was declared in Rivellon, and bloodshed soon forgotten. But Sigurd's realm of peace was shattered when his own sons and daughters rose against him. War returned with a vengeance, and annihilation reached new heights. Desperate to safeguard Sigurd's legacy, the wizard Maxos sought the help of the one child that never betrayed his father. Sigurd and Aurora's son, the half-dragon prince. He would be the one to save the empire from ruin, and to aid him in his quest, Maxos delivered unto him the imperial command ship known as the Raven. This is the story of Maxos and the Dragon. This is the story of the Dragon Commander.
Sigurd I, Emperor of Rivellon, murdered, sons and daughters go to war. Attempts to fight for the throne, no quarter given, decades of peace and unbloodied battlegrounds. When that proclaimed their war as punishment from the gods, oh yeah, they were zealots. War waged with terrible contraption, elves and lizards, horrified imps delighted. Gold prices rocket. Not all bad.
Welcome, noble dragon, to the Raven. This wonder of engineering. This miracle wrought in magic that has a living demon for a heart. Between the knowledge I shall pry from this infernal creature's cryptic mind and the avalanche of tomes, manuscripts and blueprints aboard awaiting study, we will catch up with our enemies in no time and claim back the lands they have taken by force. Our task is monumental, but we will not have to face it alone. Two famed generals are here already, loyal to the legacy we are trying to save, and therefore loyal to you, given time. I have furthermore enlisted the service of Grumio, an imp of devilish cunning that can fashion anything my research will uproot. Already he has created you a wonder he calls a jet pack. Talk to these men, get your bearings, and begin your conquest. If you have any more questions, you can find me in the Royal Chamber, which I shall use as a study. Good luck, Dragon. May the Divines be with you.
Let me tell your right-of-the-bat bastard that I hold you in very little regard. Your father may have been a great king once, but this last decade, a crowned pig would have played the part better.
Oh, at least he's honest.
He became a vainglorious fool, a sloth, and a coward. No wonder then that his own children could amass armies unperceived and strike at the heart of a kingdom in a matter of days. He tried to run, but he failed, and they slew him where he stood. Now the realm has been shattered, and vultures are picking what they can from his corpse by means of new and terrifying war machines. I'd say all is lost, but Maxos insists you are to be the one, the hero who will take back the land we've lost. Excuse me if I laugh in derision. Ha 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 ha! Still, you are a dragon, I'll give you that, and of ancient blood. Prove to me you have the rocks to do undaunted battle, and perhaps my respect may still be yours. Henry of the House of Lancefort. More Edmund, he's called. A lizard of the House of Carcarus. In truth, I'd rather sleep with Syphilis incarnate than have him aboard. But there's no denying his talent. He's as arrogant as he is astute, and as ingenious as he is insufferable. Why don't you offer him a word of welcome? I know I won't.
Can I find this Edmund fellow?
I believe he's in the bar. Probably searching for sherry. Just about the only drink that snooty serpent will swill.
Take my leave.
And there we have it, I suppose. The dragon son of a monarch deposed. Rightful heir to the throne, even if he was born out of wedlock. No doubt that boar of a Henry has already introduced me in his ever-elegant way. So here I am, Lord Edmund Augustus III, Duke of Hawknest Hall. I'd add at your service, but I don't think we're quite there yet.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest, I'd normally entertain the idea of lending my expertise to your cause as curtly as I'd consider attending a dwarven opera. But not unlike my fellow general, it is Maxos's backing of this enterprise that has me intrigued. You have doubt's benefit, Dragon. Let's see how far it takes you.
Sense of a lot of distrust in you, Edmund.
When one dwells among the highest echelons of power, where ambition runs thicker than blood, distrust is your best friend, as is its brother, caution. In your case, though, the waters of misgiving run somewhat deeper. You are, after all, but a half-dragon. They call your kind Dragon Knights to lend an air of nobility to a lowly mixed breed. Not many make the distinction, even, but the crucial difference is in purity. Human ancestry taints your being, for humanity and weakness are two sides of the same tuppence I drop in beggars' hats. A bastard twice are you, my lord. Bastard born and bastard bred.
You've taken the war.
Only that it was bound to happen. For when an emperor weakens, his empire weakens with him. Now a litter of dogs is fighting for the throne, so maybe their dragon half-brother can walk away with it.
I shall take my leave. The lab.
Greetings, sire, sprung from kings. I am Grumio, son of Gromio, an imp of good and honest standing. Your technician, shall I be, if it pleases you. Your engineer and architect. I hope you'll like my jetpack. It is my gift to you, to keep without recompense, for gladly shall I remain aboard this wondrous ship to tinker and toy, hammer and hew. She is special, this vessel, filled with wonders undiscovered. The wizard, he feels it too. The taste, the tingle of mystery. Oh, to unlock its secrets.
Come you know so much about this technology stuff?
Well, my lord, when your good father and Maxos first started to conquer the world with their fancy machines, we Emps were mesmerised. None of us cared if we were being drafted into a strange warlord's empire, for if those were the weapons he wielded, we were all ready to welcome him with open arms. By golly, were we ever. Steam-driven giants on land, on sea, even in air. Oh, the ecstasy! Such wonders, such ingenuity, and jeepers, what cannons! Ever since then, some 30 years hence, us imps have dedicated our existence to the advancement of these delightful machines. Now, before those blessed days arrived, people regarded us as eccentric gnomes taken to experimenting with flame, gas and liquid like so many charlatan alchemists, but those days are over. We are scientists now, famed and fortuitous. And truth be told, though, we've never quite given up our love for all things combustible. Rather on the contrary. Not that you mind, do you, my lord?
Let's have a look at the results of your research.
Righto, my lord.
Unit types and units can be unlocked by spending research points. The more countries you occupy, the more research points you receive per turn.
Never hesitate to seek my counsel, Dragon Knight. Tirelessly I study and question in the knowledge that my discoveries will make you the mightiest dragon ever to have soared the skies. We too shall unite dragons' daring with wizards' wisdom. Nothing shall stand in your way.
Tell me about War and Peace, Maxos. How did we get where we are now?
That is quite a tale, my friend, so bear with me. Since the dawn of time, beautiful Rivellon has been a stage of bitter rivalry, strife, and war. Haughty humans, all too lofty lizards, dogged dwarves, erratic elves, irrational imps, dogmatic undead, and yes, wayward wizards even, couldn't forego the time it takes for the moon to wax and wane without turning to fresh violence. Peace. The word itself hardly had a meaning. It was an abstract. Until after long and dark ages, 3 men decided they had had enough. I was one of them. The other 2 were your father Sigurd, and an eccentric inventor known only, even by us, as the Architect. We knew war would continue everlasting unless one king would stand up, conquer all feuding factions, and unite the manifold battling races under the banner of a single world-spanning empire. Easier said than done was, I believe, our initial reaction. It was the Architect who provided us with the answer to the question how on earth we would go about enacting such an unparalleled enterprise. He said he had ways and means to provide your father, a battle-hardened warlord in his own right, with engines of war such as the world never saw. Technology. That was the solution. For if we could go to war with weapons so vastly superior as to be unstoppable, every opponent would have to yield before our onslaught. Where the Architect obtained his strange knowledge from, he never wished to reveal. But in truth, Sigurd and I cared little for his mysterious ways. For whatever the source, our plans worked like a charm, and in a matter of years, Rivellon was ours. Yes, we had done it. We had created our empire, and your father became its first and so far only ruler. For a few precious decades, peace had finally taken on a meaning. It was a bright flash, all too quickly extinguished along the tenebrous continuum of time.
In your tale, Agada, a mighty empire was created, so how come it killed so quickly?
Long have I asked myself that question. Yet the answer is as simple as it is obvious. Human nature. Love, jealousy, anger, grief. All of these emotions proved more fatal to the stability of peace than 100,000 war machines could. You see, Sigurd, the Architect, and I remained close friends after our quest had come to completion. But then, one fateful day, a woman of unequaled beauty arrived at court. After but a glance, there wasn't a man's heart in the room, not aching for even her mildest attention or a most fleeting caress. Your father, though married, courted her, as did the architect. For myself, I'd admit I'd given up the very secrets of magic in return for her love, but I knew rivalry could only lead to misery. And so it did. For bitter rivals my two friends became, and when in the end Sigurd was the one to win her affections, the architect left the palace with such hatred in his eyes as to strike me as diabolical. A year their secret liaison lasted. 1 year your father and beautiful Aurora were happy together. Then suddenly she died, and it took me a long time to find out she did so at the hand of the architect. Sigurd never knew. He was destroyed by grief. The mighty warlord withered, and with him, the soul of his empire flickered like a candle in the breeze, until his own children blew it out forever, and hacked to pieces the land that was to have been his legacy.
Tell me about my mom.
Though I said I noticed from the beginning her beauty was of such perfection as to be supernatural, I soon discovered she was indeed more than human, and that the enchanting guise we saw her in was but a mask. Behind it lurked the dragon. Yes, she was one of the ancients, interested in the ways of the infinitely lesser creatures we nevertheless call civilized. She was intrigued by Sigurd, his war machines, and his empire. It led her to his castle, to a brief spell of passion, and ultimately, her downfall.
Where's the bastard architect now?
I promise I will tell you in due time.
Okay.
For now, I must keep silent. Please, don't press me any further on the subject.
Architect's probably selling weapons to the other children. Why do they seem to dislike him?
No one in Rivellon, save for you, Sigurd, the architect, and I, know of Aurora and how her death affected your father. As far as most are concerned, he was a great hero who all too soon fell prey to indulgence, sloth, and alcohol, which lost him the affection of his children, and in time started the war. They are wrong, but truth will be revealed one day. Rest assured that when we finish our conquest and I can spend some leisure time in peace, I will write his history, and yours too. Everyone shall know the tragedy that befell him, and how his son, by the woman he loved, rose to save an empire.
So what's your true end goal, Maxis?
In a few words, victory and destruction. First, we must vanquish all warring rivals for the throne. Then, we must undo the technology that enabled them to go to war in the first place. We will rekindle the Empire of Peace your father founded, and be rid of the apparatus that might threaten it once more.
Let's see what you've been researching.
It shall be my honor.
Okay. Spend them all on the other things. Dropping a lot of frames, so might have to do something with the settings. Let's try some. If I made a turn, press the end turn button to go to the next turn. The left mouse button, move the mouse to drag the map around. You can pick up a pawn by clicking on it and then dragging it to another country. forwards. I don't remember. Turn. Emperor's bastard son gets wizard's backing. Emperor rumored to have palace built with enemy bones. Country is in shock. Warwick's tribe not so much. More haste, less speed. Enemy invention propels moves forward. How does he do it? Wizards try to explain the dragon's healing powers in layman's terms.
Great dragon, glorious warlord. Once more you return from the battlefield red with the blood of slain adversaries. And let me tell you, these victories of yours have not gone by unnoticed. In fact, to my great satisfaction, another pair of dauntless generals has joined our company. 4 military masterminds are now on board, more than enough to start a campaign of conquest on a truly grand scale. No doubt you're as anxious to meet them as they are to meet you. So why don't you go to the throne room, where I've instructed them to await your arrival.
So are we now complete?
Heavens no. You have the military firmly on your side. But civil emissaries too are bound to join our cause in due time. Indeed, I expect you will be declared emperor before long. Yes, you heard me correctly. Emperor. It is inevitable. People have heard of you. The dragon. Their one hope of deliverance from war, oppression, and death. Soon hope will turn into confidence. And when ambassadors of the civilized races flock to the Raven, your political career will commence.
Continue.
You yourself will of course represent all humans. But the dwarves, elves, lizards, imps, and undead will want their say as well. And more. Still, let us worry about politics later. Today, it is your generals that count.
Take my leave.
My Lord Dragon, allow me to present your team of generals. Edmund you already know, but I now have the pleasure of introducing you to Her Highness Lady Catherine, Queen of Westbridge, and Scarlet, not noble of birth, but the more so of heart.
Hey.
We 4 have pledged we will stand by you in your conquest as a rightful heir to Revlon's throne. Bastard no longer, you shall be known as Commander, until the day comes that you shall be king. All hail the dragon.
Hail!
Hail!
Yes, well, hail.
I would say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Commander. But as it stands, I must approach you with a bit of reserve. True, to know we have a Dragon Knight for a leader is a great relief. For such a grand creature inspires bravado in the many hearts that will have to be won so that we may overthrow the spreading dark.
Okay.
But then again, you are the offspring, the male offspring to boot, of a sorry line prone to decadence and corruption. The very line, in fact, that is responsible for the downfall of the Empire in the first place. Forgive me then if I do wonder, will this commander pass muster? Earn his wings? Earn his crown?
Checking up on something. What's with the male bashing?
Because they call us females the fairer sex. But in truth, we are also more cunning, resilient, refined, and downright intelligent. Give an empire a queen, I say, and it will be ruled. Give it a king, and it will become an afterthought. For like any man, he is content when both his belly and his bed are filled with a prize piece of tender flesh. No more.
Okay.
Men are simple creatures, Commander, and should therefore be in charge of simple things only.
Okay.
How's it hanging, Commander? I'm Scarlet, and you're a dragon, they tell me. Always wanted to ride one of those, though I bet you're a little harder to handle than a horse. All part of the fun, though, I reckon, so give me a shout when I can take you for a spin. Treat me mean, I'll scratch your eyes out. Treat me well, and I'll purr like a kitten. Your choice, Commander.
It's going to take some getting used to, you know, to call you Commander. Verily, I was rather opposed to the notion, but Maxos in his infinite wisdom insisted we up the level of common courtesy toward you. Commoner would have done. Commander, though, it shall be.
Snoody.
As much as it is in the eagle's nature to look down upon the world in hunt of lesser creatures, it is my genius that makes me soar high above all others. Lesser creatures indeed. At the lone top do I reside, but I would have it no other way. Those who do not understand, all but everyone, calls me a loner, thinking the word to be a pejorative. But it is on the contrary glorious to live in sweet isolation when all around you non-lizards, that is to say, inferiors, skitter and crawl like vermin. I am a solitudinarian, for my nature makes me so. And when I do have contact with those I loathe, inevitably I talk down to them as it is impossible to communicate on a level of equality when there is none to be had.
Yes, Commander?
Bastard no longer, right?
Seemed hardly proper to call you by that particular pet name on what was somewhat of an official occasion. But don't worry, I may still slip up once or twice, even though my respect for you is in fact growing. You've got a knack for bloody brutal battle, and faint-heart never won fair victory.
Okay, let's go to...
It's wondrous, my lord. Wondrous. The Raven, she speaks to me in my dreams. She tells me fantastic things, newfangled and new formed. I can make them all for you if you provide the right resources.
So she sings to you?
Indeed she does, my lord. A soft voice sings inside my head, but only when I'm in the land of eyes shut and mind at rest. There, she guides me to glory. Shows me things not even wizards could dream of.
Was to win it and destroy the machines of war, yeah?
Yes, but don't remind me. My heart bleeds just thinking about it. Oh, but I must be like a chef, don't I? I must create delicate wonders, impeccable blends of perfection in the knowledge they must all turn wretched clumps of waste destined for the sewer. It's a thankless thing I do, but I must remind myself the fun lies in creation, not completion. Can't be helped, my lord. Without delay, my lord.
Back up with Maxos.
Bravo, Commander! The lines of battle are redrawn with each passing day and always in your favor.
Email.
Does he now? There's an explanation for that. but
Probably
I'll
my
reserve it
mom.
for later. My privilege, Commander.
Got this research. 5, so can't buy anything.